As for when the next episode's going to publish, it's going to depend. Between the time I actually set this video to render and when it gets published onto YouTube, I will have already done my blind RuneScape 3 stream. And I have no idea how that's going to go. If it goes really, really well and I'm really interested in continuing my blind playthrough of RS3, I'm likely going to try to find AFK content in that game that I can use to edit more of these videos.
2 years later.
I am out of here. Goodbye, farewell. I'm going back to the land that I love, the land of old school RuneScape. They've added so much good stuff. I'm so excited to play it. I'm so excited to do stuff there. Thanks for watching this series. That's the end of RS3. Look forward to the video essay sometime in 2026. I have it's going to be 5 hours long, guys. I have so much to say. Bye. I'm back, you guys. I'm back in old school RuneScape. Thank God. I can't tell you how relieved I am to be done with RS3 forever. I was getting ready to start recording for old school RuneScape when I realized that I had hundreds of clips in the can that I never got around to publishing from this series. That's because as soon as I started playing RS3, I ran out of AFK. That game, I'm going to talk about it in the video essay. We'll get to it. But it's not like old school. You can't get as much work done in that game as you can with old school. I ran out of backlog really fast. I had to stop working on my Bonfire Man account. It was just a nightmare. As you saw from that clip, though, I'm done now. I'm free. I don't have to play RS3 ever again, and now I can get back to old school. But first, I need to show you these videos I recorded 5 years ago in 2020. I promise there's plenty of more recent content coming soon. I'm going to continue Bonfire Man soon. I have a new plan for how to deal with all of the new content that's been added to old school RuneScape, all of the quests, all the new mini games, all of the new bosses, that sort of a thing. But first, I have 6 episodes to get to you from the original series, so if you can bear with the bad mic quality, the too many plugins, let me just share these videos with you, please, so you can see my blind reaction to a bunch of Endgame content. It's Endgame content from 5 years ago, but it's Endgame content. So if you're just catching up as to what the hell's going on, when I was recording old school RuneScape, I was recording literally every second of gameplay. I actually have 3,000 hours of unedited VODs on my computer. I wish I hadn't have done that. I think that the fast-forwarding format is novel, but also really, really annoying to watch. So I'm going to go back to a clip system, and I've been doing that for the last couple episodes. Basically, anything that previously would have been fast-forwarded now just gets deleted, so you'll only see things when I'm talking. You know, like a normal RuneScape video. I'm going to keep doing one of these videos per week. I think we've got 6 left in the can, so episodes 46 through 50, and then I should be done, and we can start doing new stuff. Please bear with me on the bad mic quality and the too many plugins turned on. It's going to get better, I promise. If you haven't watched this playthrough in a long time, you probably don't remember what my weird-ass Tin Man restrictions are. Honestly, I don't remember most of them. Really wish I had just rolled as an Iron Man, but the gist of it is I have to actually do content to be able to buy stuff from the Grand Exchange. If an item drops from a boss, I can buy it as much as I want from the Grand Exchange after that point. I was also doing a thing I called equivalent exchange, where if an item drops, I could trade it for any other item from the boss table that has the exact same drop rate. And then I also had a bailout rule that if I got to top 50k players on the high score for any boss, I could just buy their uniques if I really wanted to bail on continuing to fight them. The reason for these permissions is that I felt really bad about not rolling an Iron Man, and I wanted to let me do something as a main, buy something, even if it's very rare or I really have to work super hard for it. So I wasn't just playing as a shitty Iron Man without the little helmet icon in the corner. But it's very messy, and it's one of the things I want to try to simplify and fix as we continue the old school RuneScape playthrough going forward. There's also some shenanigans with bonds where I had to redeem bonds to help pay for splits on drops that I got from bossing with other people, and I need to pay those bonds back by buying them with GP. I'll explain that whole situation when we get to episode 50 and how I'm going to deal with that to close it out. As far as what's going on at this point in the playthrough, I don't have a candy loop tracker for this thing. I don't know what the fuck I was doing at the time. You'll hear me talk about my intentions a lot, but the basic idea is I had recently completed the Diary Cape. So the big objective now was to get 50 KC on as many bosses as possible, because that used to be the minimum necessary for those bosses to appear on the high scores. And in some cases, to level some skills in case there was new content locked behind higher skill levels. So I was still leveling Agility with the intention of doing the Hallowed Sepulchre. I was still leveling Herblore because there's some higher level potions I didn't have access to make yet. I had to tab around through my video to find what my skill levels were at this point. This is about the skill levels. In 2020, there wasn't much content for any of these skills past these levels, outside of getting higher prayer levels to help with the Inferno, maybe a couple more crafting levels to help with the Zenites without needing to boost as high, and like I said, Herb Lore for potions and agility for the Sepulcher. So I think that's the context you need to know what the hell's going on in this episode. Enjoy.
Yeah, I had a weird weekend. Didn't get a chance to play very much. Pretty much just been doing agility. I'm going to keep doing it now, but at some point I'm probably going to be able to play a little bit more aggressively. I really want to do a lot of Chambers of Xeric. I've learned what a solo run expects from me, and I think given my 10-man rules, I would prefer to do it in a group, but I gotta get the scheduling down for when to do group runs. It's like, I don't know how other players are, but this happens to me inevitably in almost every MMO I play, where once it gets down to group content, it gets super draining, just the process of like scheduling with people. Just blocking out the time, not even actually running the content. And I think that's part of why RuneScape has been so attractive to me so far, is that I can do the whole thing basically solo. Now I'm dependent on other people, and that's the worst. I might try running Zilyana at some point solo. I guess part of the problem is just the feeling that Zilyana and Chambers of Xeric are both so much more efficient to do with other people, that running it solo doesn't even feel great, because it's like, I could be doing this like 4 times as fast, you know? So we'll see. Agility can hold my attention in the meantime. It's going to take still about 30 hours for me to get to 92 and then check out the Sepulcher. But I should be getting to Demonic Gorillas at some point. I got to do a couple Skodazo kills really quick to get some more shards for my Arclight. The Clue Scroll, got a Guthix body and a Master Clue, which I'll go ahead and do. Man, I haven't had Clue Scrolls in a while because I'm done with Slayer. Oh, fuck, I always forget to put the items back for Clue Steps. I opened a request on GitHub for them to fix that. Alright, Master Casket, what do we get? Something. What? It's worth 445,000 coins, but none of the items are interesting. It might just be that each of these individual items is worth a decent amount. Alright, that's cool. Well, I was planning on doing Demonic Gorillas. That was a lot of work, so I'm going to go back to agility. Hey there, good morning. You know what's happening. I spent all night thinking, you know what, I'm going to go do some Vorkath, get some money. I'm just going to buy that Twisted Bow. And then I'm going to do a bunch of Demonic Gorillas and get... No, I'm just going to do agility for a bit. I think I'd have to do 300 hours of perfectly efficient Vorkath and sell all of the drops and not keep the bones for myself for prayer training, that kind of a thing, in order to be able to buy my own Twisted Bow. So that is likely not in the cards. There will be a lot of Vorkath. I do have to do quite a bit of it for Dragon Bolts and stuff for Inferno. But we're coming up on 3,000 hours of recorded play here. Well, 3,000 hours of play. Even the couple times we've done cannonballs off the recording, we included that in the live split timer. So we're coming up on 3,000 hours of play, and I'm kind of feeling like I want to just give the Inferno a try, or a couple tries. So I did some research as to what I need, bare minimum. It sounds like I should at least get the Necklace of Anguish. It's only 1 Zenite. I already have the crafting level to make it, and range DPS is really important for being able to finish the Inferno, so I'll do that. It sounds like an ACB is highly recommended over the Dragon Crossbow, so I'll probably go ahead and try to finish up getting an ACB. And a Ceradome and Godsword sounds like it's not completely necessary, but it gives us some room, you know, once I feel like I can handle the waves. If I want to go for the run, I could use the SGS and camp the spec to survive a little bit longer than I would be able to otherwise. So, I mean, for now we're just doing agility, but I'm going to keep thinking about that. I might want to try to attempt the Inferno sooner rather than later, than just try to hold out until I've got everything. It does sound like Rigor is pretty necessary, though, so I'm probably going to have to do more Chambers of Xeric. I'm going to see if people are available for that kind of thing soon. Oh, Jesus. Apparently I've had 2 instances of the live split timer open, and OBS has gotten the wrong one, so this whole time it hasn't been counting up. Okay. It is counting up on the one that I'm using right now. Let me see. There it is. Whoops. Sorry about that. Sure you got the idea. It was like 3 hours or something. Agility 89. Clicked through it while I was picking up a Mark of Grace there. Eating some lunch, and then I might be able to fit something in that's not agility here in a second. I'm probably going to take a break from agility once I get to 90 finally, which is in more than 10 hours. 90 is an important level threshold because it unlocks increased run regeneration. And I think I now, after hitting 89, have access to all of the shortcuts in the game. Opens a shortcut in the Revenant Caves, which I am never going to go to. Oh, but now I can use a Summer Pie all the way down to until the boost wears off, so that's cool. Yeah, this will be nice going from 90 to 92 since I won't have to worry about Summer Pies anymore. I can just click without thinking. Alright, I'm at 250 marks of grace. That seems like as good a stopping point as any. I'm thinking about getting some secondaries for super energy potions so I can make all of these stamina pots, because that's going to be pretty AFK. So I gotta go gear up for that. One day we'll do demonic gorillas. Alright, it looks like I've got enough Mortmire fungus in order to make all of my Avanto into super energy potions. I'm probably still going to end up having way more amylase crystals. I have to do the math. But I don't think this is quite going to get me to 92 Herblore, but it's going to be a pretty big bump in XP. So I got to prep for stream, so I don't have time to do that right now. I'm going to make my unfinished potions. But then I'll work on this tomorrow. Hey, good morning. I only have a quick 30 minutes to play before I have to go to a dentist appointment, so I'm just going to work on making these super energies. I got about 1,000 potions done, so that's good. I'm halfway there. We're going to go do Chambers of Xeric here in a second, but make some more potions. We're about to go do a couple raids, so it'll all just get fast forwarded unless something interesting happens. We'll see you. Pretty decent run there. That was KC25 for me. Hey, and finally got the Ancient Tablet. Use Ancient Tablet on Xeric's Talisman. Talisman and tablet are held together. A surge of power connects the two. After a brief moment, the tablet crumbles and the talisman feels somehow different. Well, that's convenient. Cool. AC 26. We're done raiding for today. No drops. I'm gonna go finish making these super energies, and then we'll find something else to do. All right, got some more amylase crystals from my 250 or so banked Marks of Grace. That's the thing. Yeah, turn them all into stamina potions. I now have something like 2,000 stamina potions in the bank, worth about 10 million gold, almost 11 million gold. Getting pretty close to 92 Herblore. Gotta figure out what I want to do next. Alright, I am going to go ahead and redeem my miscellanea herbs, which I haven't done in a couple months, so we'll see how many that ends up being. My bigger problem now is secondaries, but still. Pretty good haul right there. Might move off of hardwood here and switch to coal. I think I have enough banked. Yeah, I have enough banked wood that I could get to 95 or 91. I only need to get to 90 in order to boost to make the last thing I care about from construction. So now I can get to 92. Okay, yeah, I've got more than enough basically. Coal I might end up needing for darts in the future. So something I'm probably going to do here soon is I'm probably going to go back to Nightmare Zone ranged. I really want to get to 99 range before we attempt the Inferno. And a lot of the content that I would do with range that would get me levels like Alchemical Hydra, I now have a better option. Alchemical Hydra and Vorkath actually both are better off doing in melee. I need some Nightmare Zone points anyway for blue dragon scale dust, which is probably going to help me with getting to my herb lore goal. So after I clean these herbs and make whatever potions with them, I might go do some ranged Nightmare Zone and see how that plays out now that I've got way more gear than the last time I attempted it. We shall see. Okay, I've made it through all of the herbs for which I have sufficient secondaries and can easily get sufficient secondaries, and now I'm in the danger zone where I'm going to have to really farm hard to clear out the rest of what's in my bank. Some of that's going to happen via Nightmare Zone, so I'm going to go ahead and start that up right now. I was about to step away and just stop the recording, but then I remembered, wait, no, Nightmare Zone. We haven't done that in a long time. That gives us a chance to just literally walk away from the computer. So I'm going to gear up for range Nightmare Zone with broad bolts, throw on auto retaliate, see what the XP and points per hour is like. I want to be AFK enough that I don't have to pay attention at all, so I'm just going to bring regular pots here. So, okay, I've done some research online. Inferno should be possible, provided that I have Rigor, an ACB, although ACB is not strictly necessary. It seems like it makes a pretty big difference as to the end of the run. Rigor, ACB, Ceridome, and Godsword. I think that was it, right? Oh, and an Anguish. So the question is, can I get all of those things in 85 hours? I think almost certainly I can make the Anguish happen. I can at least get to top 50k players on Zilyana. We're like just a couple dozen kills away from that. I think we're like top 53k right now, and I've already given in on a couple other God Wars Dungeon boss drops, namely the Armadillo Helmet. So I would not be opposed to also giving in on Zilyana. She's a really annoying boss. It's hard to get people to join for her because if you don't get any unique drop, as we haven't in like 550, 600 kills, she's pretty painful because she doesn't drop very much. She doesn't really make the trips worth it. So I can almost certainly at least get to the kill threshold required for that within 85 hours. That leaves Rigor, which is going to be a bit harder. I mean, obviously, I'm going to keep trying to do Cox trios. If any one of us gets either an Arcane Prayer Scroll or a Rigor Prayer Scroll drop, that unlocks Rigor for me. I just have to buy it with gold. And then also, I'm probably going to have to run a decent amount of Vorkath in order to get Dragon Bolt tips to bank. We're going to need some of those for the very end of the run. I do want to try to at least hit 98 range, but 99 would be great too. Do the things that the grinds that I can control for right now. I think the last time I calculated it, it's like 25 hours, 30 hours. You know, I guess 98 might actually make sense as a point to stop for ranged. The thought being that I'm not going to beat the Inferno on my first 10, 20, 30 attempts. It's going to be really hard. So if I'm at least getting something out of it, mainly ranged XP, that's a little bit more stomachable than if I go in there and every attempt is just knowledge gained. So yeah, I think that's a pretty compelling reason to stop at 98. That also gives us probably more than enough Nightmare Zone points to get all of the Blue Dragon skill dust that we're going to... We'll go ahead and make that the plan. Get to 98 in Nightmare Zone, do a bunch of household chores and stuff in the meantime. That leaves us with a solid 75-ish hours. Maybe more like 70 hours to do all the other things I listed. But I would be just delighted to be able to start my first Inferno run around hour 3000. Alright, I'm going to go steal some Gullanova fruit tops for herblore purposes. Alright, I got 11 Gullanova fruit tops, which should last a decent amount of time. Go ahead and bank those, and I gotta go prep for stream. Hey, good morning. We're about to do a couple of Cox runs. Let's clear 27. Doing pretty well. Lagging out on a +1 run. It's pretty frustrating. I actually don't know what happens here if this happens. That sucks. I was on the final phase of Ulm too. That's a bummer. I'm gonna end the recording. It looks like this is a full-on Comcast outage. It's gonna take a sec to come back up. Hey, I was pretty annoyed yesterday after getting a Comcast outage right during Ulm's final phase and missing out on the KC. So I haven't played in a little bit. After I got back from the DC, I logged in really quick just to see if I got credit in the collection log. I did not, but basically after logging back in, I got everything out of my private stash. I used my achievement diary cape to get back to my house, looked at the collection log, and that's why I'm standing outside my house portal right now. I am going to go do Nightmare Zone for points, because I need to do some AFK work this morning, and I want to get to range 98 before we start attempting the Inferno, so I will go work on that. Gonna buy more of these dragon scale dusts and stock back up on absorptions. Alright, got some Nightmare Zone done today. Try to pick up. It's probably going to be more dragon scale dust than I'm ever going to need, because in order to make super anti-fires, I need Vorkath bones, and I'm not going to be able to do enough Vorkath to make all of these potions. Hey there. Probably saw a lot of fast forward Nightmare Zone there. Tomorrow I'm probably going to do a Chambers of Xeric run and keep doing this until we get to 98 ranged. Got 28 KC there with no drop. I did get an elite clue scroll, so I'll probably do that later. Oh shit, I'm over here like, why am I recovering health? I walked in here with the fucking blowpipe. I knew I was doing something wrong. Cannot waste scales in here, that's terrible. 98 ranged. Alright. I'm basically done with Nightmare Zone. Like I said, I want to leave some XP so that when I run the Inferno, I don't feel like I'm completely wasting my time in there. Same thing with Magic. Go ahead and stay at 98. Magic and ranged. We have a little bit more work I gotta do, so I'm gonna go do that really quick and get a little bit more XP in here, I guess. And I'll come back and work on Herb Lore or something. Finished Nightmare Zone. I'm now making anti-fire potions to eventually make super anti-fire potions and extended anti-fires. This might get me to 92 Herb Lore. 92 Herb Lore. Can now make super anti-fire potions, which is what I'm going to want to do. I don't know how much Vorkath I'm going to run. I know I have to do a decent amount to get some Dragon Bolt tips. Definitely don't want to use every last bone from Vorkath on making super anti-fires, because I'm pretty much just going to use them to do more Vorkath. Maybe I'll just make a potion, one potion per run, and then use it on the next run, and so on. Bank the other bones. I don't really need to make the rest of these. I mean, it would be nice to get the bank spot back for making all these unfinished Lanthanum potions. Hey there, good morning. We're gonna go do some Chambers of Xeric here shortly. $29 KC, no drop. See what's next. That's 30 KC. Hey there, I'm running low on relevant AFK activities to do for me to get some work done. Something I am going to go do, though, is try to mine some sandstone to get buckets of sand for crafting. So I guess probably first I'll get some giant seaweed, because we're going to need to have enough seaweed to make all the glass. I haven't done that before. I assume it's not terribly interesting. I think it's a little bit easier to do because I have the desert necklace. So we'll give that a shot and see how it goes. Alright, so I went ahead and got 25,000 buckets to give to Drew for the sandstorm grinder, and then we're going to see how this goes. If it's not AFK enough, I'll do something different. Hey, good morning. It's been about a week since I last played RuneScape. Definitely the longest break I've taken. Prior to this last week break, I've taken maybe a maximum of a day off. had a big change in home circumstances. It's probably going to delay me getting around to attempting the Inferno, kind of a thing. However, all of that said, I need to re-up my membership. I only have 5 days left, and I still have tons of bonds that I have to pay back. So I'm going to go get some seaweed spores, because why not? And go buy back the bonds, 3 bonds, mark it up on the spreadsheet, and I'll probably continue my break for a few more weeks as my home situation settles. I'll see ya. Woof. Old school bonds are up to 6 mil each. Should not have done the bonds thing to split with other people. It's going to be tough to pay that back before the Infernal Cave playthrough is done. Alright, I've got 3 bonds at a significant personal cost. 3 bonds, 45 days. You've gained 45 days of membership. Alright, let me update my spreadsheet, which I probably won't show on the video here. We'll show it next time we look at the spreadsheet. And I'm going to continue my long RuneScape break. I'll see ya. I'll probably be back for the, well, you don't care about timing because you're just seeing these back to back. From my perspective, it's October 15th. I took a break about a week ago. I'll probably be back for Trailblazer Leagues, and I'll probably go pretty hard on that. It'll be a nice palate cleanser for going hard on endgame content on the main. So I'll see you. Hey, so I have exciting news. I just logged in yesterday saying that I was taking a break from the game until Trailblazer Leagues because I had a change in real life circumstances and because my remaining grinds have been a little bit too brutal, too RNG based, especially Chambers of Xeric. But if you'll recall, we had a Twisted Bow drop on like 4 KC, 3 or 4 KC at Chambers of Xeric, and that dropped for Miss Clover, who we've been doing Cox runs with. So according to my rules, technically that unlocked the Twisted Bow for me, that I could purchase it from the Grand Exchange, but unfortunately, and this is part of why I was feeling demotivated, that would involve me doing like 300 hours of Warcath just to be able to afford to buy it. So I've been kind of down. And the original plan when the bow dropped was that we would split it between the 4 of us, but obviously since it dropped for Miss Clover, who's an Iron Man, that would be pretty screwed up to tell them that they had to split it. It was super useful to their account and a pretty rare drop. Well, the good news is that Miss Clover actually just got a Twisted Bow drop separately in a free-for-all Cox raid with a different group. And so what we're doing is Clover's going to trade it to me on their alt, and I'm going to use it to finish up some of our grinds here. We're going to use it for Demonic Gorillas until I can make an Anguish. I'm going to take it to solo Zilyana until I can get a Ceradome and Godsword Hilt. Then I'm going to use it for Inferno, and after that I'll trade it back to Clover and figure out, you know, if we're going to split it, how we're going to split it, that kind of a thing. So I'm just kind of waiting here at the GE. Clover's alt's going to be here soonish. Oh, there we are. There it is. Awesome. Cool. All right, I get to use this temporarily. Beauty. So obviously this has reinvigorated my interest in continuing to play. Let me start the clock here. I'm gonna pause here at the bank to gather my wits and my thoughts. Probably gonna go do this elite clue scroll first, and then after the elite clue, we'll head down into Demonic Gorillas. Amusingly, I completely forgot that bows need arrows. I haven't used a bow. I've been using a crossbow for like probably 2,700 hours. I may have used like a short bow or something early on before we got the rune crossbow. Switch to bolts. Pretty sure I have some arrows in the bank though, and I'll check that. All right, I have 14,651 rune arrows. So I think the whole conceit of the Twisted Bow is that it does increase damage against enemies that have a high magic level, and is kind of terrible against enemies that don't, which is what I'm experiencing right now against this random enemy. So, all right, elite casket. It's sitting in my bank for weeks, and of course, there's a master clue. I guess I'll start it. I kind of want to get to Demonic Gorillas because I'm excited about this T-bow, but... Alright, Master Casket, what do we get? Nothing. Alright, well, at least I got it out of my bank. Let me try to gear up for Demonic Gorillas now. Of course, I forgot to bring rune arrows. To get used to this whole I need arrows concept in the first place. I got another light frame. I wish every frame that I've gotten would have been a Zenite. These are all rarer than the Zenites. It's depressing. Twisted Bow is kind of nice, though. It's not a huge difference from the blowpipe, but it's noticeable. Hey folks, good morning. It's actually a new day. I had to bounce right when I was starting Gorillas yesterday. Didn't get a lot of kills in after that light frame drop. But I'm trying to get back on it now. I'll say the Twisted Bow is pretty nice in here, especially if I can hit close to a 50 and then immediately hit close to a 50 again. If there's like a 47 hit right there. Not quite a 47, but still. I let myself get excited when the hard clue scroll dropped. I haven't been getting hard clue scrolls in a while, so it made the screen flash. I'm within range of getting max hit and killed, so I'm gonna warp out, learn my lesson, especially if I'm carrying this T-bow. It was, yeah, about 39 kills in a single trip. It's pretty good. I'm gonna go do this clue scroll real quick. Alright, hard casket. That's Master Clue. 2 of those in a row. Oh, the nice, really fast Master Clue step. I think it was probably the minimum number of steps. Most of them weren't too difficult. Go open the casket here, and then I need to break up my Demonic Gorillas trips. I can't just keep going back straight in there. It's too disheartening to never get a drop. We're at 1,219 kills. I'm now... Should have gotten a second crystal at KC 600, so now I'm 619 dry past that for a second Zenite. Alright, Master Casket. It's not a mimic and didn't contain anything interesting. Okay. So what I think I might try here is I might try to see how Zilyana goes without Anguish and all the other upgrades that I'd like to bring to it. So I'm going to gear up for that. I'm also going to try to get into Zilyana by getting KC outside the boss room instead of bringing an ecumenical key. Alright, I was able to get KC by just fighting spiritual mages and it worked pretty well. I'm going to find an open world now. Plan what I'm going to do here. Oh yeah, this thing shreds Zilyana. Big fan. And the max range means I can run really far out from her and get some shots in successfully. So this is going to be pretty possible, I think. Gonna have to get better at not taking a bunch of unnecessary damage, but... What I got? 5 kills here, right? Yeah, I feel like that's pretty good compared to what I was previously pulling coming in here with the crossbow. And the kill feels way more reasonable. Healing is kind of an issue, but isn't it always? Hey there, how's it going? As you probably saw in the fast forward there, I died. I ran back, got my gravestone, left the supplies behind. It ended up costing me like 130k, which coincidentally was about the amount of money that I got from doing it anyway, so not a big loss. I looked on the high scores and I need like another 5 or so kills to get the top 50k so I can buy the items that I need in case I stay super dry. So I think I'm gonna go back to Zilyana and try to get those few kills in, and then we'll continue Demonic Gorillas. Just at 11 kills, which is pretty good for a trip. Twisted Bow makes a huge difference. I am out of prayer though, I need to get out of here. I think I'm also now in the top 50k players, so buy a Ceradomin hilt for the Inferno. I'm gonna have to grind money for it, because I probably need to do some Warcath anyway. Let me bank some stuff, and then I'm going to try to pull up the high scores so you can see that I'm top 50k as of today, October 18th, 2020. Here's the high scores, personal scores for Melolai. There it is, Commander Zilyana, top 48,305 players. So I'm probably done with her. I might do a couple more runs just to see if I get lucky, but it's such a huge time investment for a drop that's rarer than the Zenite drop and a boss that takes longer to kill than a Demonic Gorilla. So I'll probably see if I can just grind out the money and buy the hilt like we did with the Zamorak hilt. Hey, good morning. Back from getting about 11 KC on Zilyana. Gonna maybe try to do some Chambers of Xeric today, but in the meantime I'm gonna work on Demonic Gorillas. So I'm on my way over there now. Hey, we're going to do some Cox. I just got back from another Demonic Gorillas run and no drops. So I'll report back after Cox is done. That was 32 KC. We should be getting one every 14 raids or so, an elite, or not an elite, unique. But we are extremely dry. Frustratingly so. I might take a break here, we'll see. Tomorrow morning I'm probably going to end up doing some Zilyana with Chaos Factor. He's available, we'll see. Hey there, good morning. Today we might do some Chambers of Xeric. Today's also the return of a Halloween event. It is October 21st, 2020. And I definitely want to do all of the holiday stuff that I skipped last year because I don't have a trimmed music cape and didn't realize that I needed it for a trimmed music cape. But for now, Chaos Factor and I are going to go duo with Zilyana. So I got to gear up for that and go get KCs. Work on that now. Just had a Dragonstone drop. That is a 1 in 1,016 drop. Alright, I got him up to KC 170, which ended up being 44 personal kills. I think that everyone else got, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 kills to them. So we'll call it a 50 KC trip and no drops. Absolute garbage trash. Hey, I'm back. We're about to do a Cox run with Esjul, which I'm excited about. Playing on a UK server to help with latency, since Esjul's only got about 5 KC at Chambers of Xeric. Open this elite casket from Zilyana, which is absolute garbage. Embarrassing trash. $33 KC, at least triggered technically 34 KC for me. That's 34 KC registered, 35 actual, still no drop. Womp womp. Alright, after another day of nothing from Zilyana and raids, I'm gonna try to sell some crap in my bank and do some alking, and then I'm probably gonna pop off to prep for stream. See ya. Hey, good morning. Gonna do some more Chambers of Xeric and Zilyana this morning, but first I'm gonna go try to knock out this Halloween event before I forget, because I skipped all of them last year. Everything okay? You look a little lost. Take this as a thank you. I never want to see a pumpkin again. Whoa. Okay, I guess it's because they're giving me every Halloween reward here. Jeez. This was last year, the one I didn't do, right? Magical pumpkin. Headless head. That's pretty awesome, I gotta say. Clown shoes. Jonas mask. Oh, like... That's pretty funny. Banshee robe. Great. Now, what are they going to do next year when they're already giving people a full inventory of crap? Oh, and it unlocked. You've unlocked new skin colors from the Makeover Mage. Unlocked a bunch of emotes. Oh, there's items I've unlocked from Diango that aren't in my inventory. Okay, I see. It looks like I need to build a toy box. But that only costs 2 mahogany planks. I don't know why I didn't already build it. Alright, let me go do that. Oh, because it requires 86 construction. That's okay, I can make T to boost that. Build toy box space. Mahogany toy box. Perfect. Pause it all. Oh, nice. It automatically populates the ones from Diego. Okay. Clown suit. 2019 was a pumpkin lantern, a spooky costume. I already skipped the Easter event. Crap. Next year. I think it's Easter, Christmas, and Halloween, and that's it. Well, I only have to make it to spring then. Oh, Crystal Saw Seed. I finally burned all the starting charges on it after all these hours. Huh, I actually have never had to recharge that thing. Let me Google that really quick. It's like you just have to go to a crystal bowl. Okay. 56 charges. Hey there, setting up to go do some Chambers of Xeric, and maybe some Zilyana. Alright, that was in-game KC 35, actual KC 36. Could probably go do some Zilyana. Hey, good morning. I had to bounce from the middle of the Zilyana run. I had a family emergency to attend to, so we didn't get super far into the leaving full of supplies, unfortunately. I need to do some stream work this morning, so I'm going to start working on that now. I think I need to come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to have an Anguish, Saradomin Godsword, and Rigor by the 3,000 hour mark. That was my unofficial goal for attempting the Inferno. I wanted to start it at the 3,000 hour mark. Setting that arbitrary goal has basically stopped me from playing RuneScape, because it's like I need to make sure I use all of my hours on getting one of those three things. I'm beholden to a drop rate, and I guess it could have happened because I've done, since I set that goal, I've done like 10 Chambers of Xeric runs, and I've killed Zilyana like 100 times, and I've nearly finished an entire Demonic Gorilla's task and haven't gotten any of the things that I need. So I'm probably going to go back to working on some AFK-ish stuff. I just switched to the Lunar Spellbook. I think I'm going to sit here and try to make as many Molten Glass as I can. And then I'm going to blow the Molten Glass so I can get my work done. So I'm going to start working on that now. Alright, work through my giant seaweed. Time to start blowing glass. Let's do it. Hey, I just finished going through all the Molten Glass. I'm about halfway to 89 crafting, which is not a significant level. Gonna take a short break before we go do some Zilyana. I'll see ya. Oh, got an elite clue, that's neat. We just did a 46 kill Zilyana trip, still no drop. The last math I did suggested that we've gotten 734 kills with no drop. At a 1 in 508 drop chance, which is too bad. It's the elite casket. Not super great. Drop from Zilyana. We're going to do 1 or 2 Cox clears, and then I got to prep for stream. KC 36, I think technically silver ore and coal. One of these days, maybe we'll get a drop. The raid got Ranars and Torn Prayer Scroll. That was officially KC 37, but 38 given the one that I got screwed out of. Looking super great. 4.7 million GP. I guess this is only tracking some of them because I haven't had this thing installed the whole time. It's from 30 logs. Okay. Oh, I have them all logged here. 5.18 million from all the ones I've done. Given the lack of drops, well, regardless of the lack of drops, I got to prep for stream, so I'm going to pop off. I might do some more of this over the weekend. Today's Friday. We shall see. Trailblazer is next Friday. I'm going to be taking a pretty big break from the live servers to do that because I'm very much excited about it. And if you've already seen the Trailblazer VODs, I don't think I would have published them by now. Who knows? Maybe some people were like, hey, can we see Trailblazer while you're doing it? Maybe. We'll see. Hello. This morning, I officially abandoned the get everything prepped for the Inferno and then do Inferno by 3,000 hours plan. It's stifling what I want to do in the game. I think I'm going to go do some agility, because I was working on agility as my AFK skill as the time crept towards 3,000 hours. Got to 89, which is an insignificant level, and then stopped. So I feel like I should at least finish what I started and get to 90. Being at 90 means I don't have to use summer pies on that course anymore. It gets me crystals to level Herblore, which I want to do as well. And perhaps most importantly, 90 is a threshold level for increased run energy regen, which will be helpful for things like the Inferno and Zilyana. So I'm going to go work on that now. Alright, I need 500 more laps to get to 90, which is going to take a really long time, like 8 hours. I'm going to go take a break, maybe come back, do some demonic gorillas or something. I'll see you. Go do a Chambers of Zarek run. Got KC38, Elite Clue Scroll, nothing else. Hey, we finally got a drop. Twisted Buckler. That's cool. Let me figure out how much that thing's worth. Neat. Let me figure out what I owe people. Guess I could equivalent exchange this for the Dragon Hunter crossbow. About time we got a purple. I think I owe them each 4.389 divided by 3. Let me do the math. Finally got a purple. Pretty exciting. Don't yet know if I'm going to exchange this thing in for a Dragon Hunter crossbow that would cost me 90 million gold, which can't trivially make happen. But I don't plan to use it terribly much until I make a final decision on what I'm doing with it in relationship to the DH crossbow. Thanks, folks. I'll see you around. Hey there, good morning. Yesterday we had a Cox run where I got my first ever purple drop, Twisted Buckler, which now after discussing it in Discord sounds like it's the worst drop. Whatever, that's how it goes. I am going to do this Elite Clue really quick because we're about to go do Zilyana, and Zilyana has a chance to drop one, and I wouldn't want to miss out on that because that would be frustrating. Elite Casket, I got some kind of ornament kit. What do we get here? Dragon Length Skirt ornament kit. That's kind of cool. And a giant boot. Giant boot. Go ahead and deposit that. Probably throw the ornament kit on Dragon Skirt, though I'll never use it again. Just hit 300 KC in Zilyana. Still nothing. Holy crap. Just got a Ceridome hilt. Finally, it happened. I'm super excited. Fly Mouse is with us. We got a drop. Love that it was on the kill that Chaos got the credit for, too. KC302. Pretty excited to finally have this hilt. The ACB would be a nice to have at this point, because, you know, the T-bow is on loan until I'm finished with content. So I'm not going to go super crazy if we don't get it. We may as well stay a little bit longer on the trip and see what happens. Oh, another unique. Ceridome Sword, who cares, but Ceridome Sword will help me a little bit to afford to pay for the split. Might have to sell some stuff, figure it out, what I can dump. This only leaves 2 more items that I need. I need Rigor and Godsword Shard. It's my 11th Godsword Shard too, which is pretty comical. Alright, that's the end of our trip. I am splitting with Fly and Chaos. I can't afford to split with Chaos just yet, so I'm just going to give Fly what I owe him. I'll figure out how to get the money for Chaos here shortly. I'm going to make the actual God Sword real quick here. I did get the Shard 1 last trip, which it turns out I need. Now I have all 4 God Swords. Although I did buy the Zamorak one because we got well into top 50k Krill kills, and I'm okay to not go back there. Try to fix the Ancient Sword. Even for an experienced smith, is not an easy task, but it only awards 100 XP, which is so funny to me. We combine God Sword Shard with Saradomin Hilt, and there it is. Saradomin God Sword. Sweet. It's a pretty cool looking God Sword, too. Alright, let me see if I can make up this money that I owe Chaos here. 7 Saradomin swords. So I think I was holding on to these because there's some kind of like, it's like a PvP item you can get that burns through the Saradomin swords, but I will probably never get that item, and I can just add it to my list as having been sold so I could buy it back potentially in the future. Yeah, so I think I can sell all these Saradomin swords. I'll keep one, obviously, and I'll sell 3 dark bows. Need multiple dark bows. Gets me a good chunk of the way there, actually. Alright, I was just able to eke out enough money to pay back Chaos Factor and have a little bit of money left over in the bank, so I'm not completely flat broke. I might sell a bond because the prices are insanely high, and I've been reading that that happens at the end of every year, and then they drop off again after Christmas, so given that I already have several in my pouch, it might make sense to just sell them at peak price and include them when I go to pay back later. I might hold out a little bit longer before I sell. We'll see. I'm probably going to have to sell them to split rigger if we ever get a rigger drop. Or to buy rigger if augury drops and my equivalent exchange it. Alright, well that was a pretty productive morning. I'm going to take a short break. Probably do some Chambers of Zarek later. See ya.
That was about 71 hours of play condensed into an hour or so. I never really appreciated how low energy I am in these videos. I guess part of it is that I'm not like recording clips. I just am recording all the time, so I'm just talking to the mic. It's a miracle y'all watched any of this series, to be honest. I think just hitting start recording on a clip just gives you a teensy little bit of energy. I know I'm not a very high energy person, and for a lot of my viewers, that's a feature rather than a bug. I think part of the reason I was so deflated in this episode, though, is just I was incredibly dry on 3 annoying things at the same time. I'm like triple dry on Demonic Gorillas, I was insanely dry on Commander Zilyana, and we went like 35 raids before seeing another purple at Chambers of Zarek. This wasn't the content that really burned me out on old school RuneScape at the time, though. We'll talk about that later when we get to it. There's a confluence of a couple things. The big one, though, is that I did Leagues 3. Everyone's always asking me, are you going to do Leagues again? And the reason I haven't touched Leagues in a while is because I went insanely ham on Leagues 3. That's the one where you could access the entire game world. I got Dragon Cup, and I did literally everything there was to do in the game, including the Inferno, and it just kind of like sapped all will to do the Inferno on my main. We'll talk about it some more in the next episode, though. I should be able to put out one of these per week until we get to episode 50, and then I'll talk about my plan for new content going forward. I do want to check out all the cool new content in Old School. And I think I have a pretty cool idea to do it that isn't going to be boring to watch. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.